Hey everyone, Raider here. Hope you're all doing great. So in today's video, we're comparing the movie watching experience between the Tab S8 Ultra and the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360. We're going to compare the displays, the audio, and we'll talk about some considerations between these two devices. And at the end of the video, I'm going to pick out which one of these two that I like the most. Timestamps will be down in the description. Let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's talk about the displays because we're really talking about equal displays here. Roughly 3K on both of them. So on the Tab S8 Ultra, we have a 2960 by 1848 14.6 inch panel. This comes in at 240 pixels per inch. Whereas on the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, we have a 2880 by 1800 screen, 16 inches, and this comes in at 212 pixels per inch. So not quite as crisp on the Book 3 Pro 360 as the Tab S8 Ultra. However, I will say in person, I don't really notice a difference. Also, both of these are rated at 400 nits of regular SDR brightness, and they're coming in at 500 nits of HDR brightness. Let's go ahead and max them both out and see what they look like. There they both are, maxed out, peak brightness, HDR content. This is the most that you're gonna get out of both machines. I'd say they're pretty much even. So as far as the display goes, I'd say they're pretty much a tie. I wouldn't base your purchasing decision based on the display properties. They're just too similar. You're not going to see much of a difference between both of them. Let's go ahead and move on to the audio. All right, so I've got Dolby Atmos enabled on both devices. That gets us the best audio experience on both of these machines. Let's go ahead and hear a snippet on the Tab S8 Ultra, and then we'll go ahead and listen to the same snippet here on the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, gods.
All right, that's a Tab S8 Ultra. The volume maxed out on both the video and the device itself. Now let's do the same on the Galaxy Book.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, gods.
All right, so that's a Book 3 Pro 360. So here's my take on both. The volume is a little bit louder and a little bit beefier, a little bassier on the Tab S8 Ultra, where it's a little bit thinner sounding and not quite as loud on the Book 3 Pro 360. However, I do feel like the vocals, the spoken word, is a little bit easier to understand on the laptop over the tablet. So it's kind of a personal preference thing, like the special effects and bombs and explosions, all those types of things sound a little bit better on the tablet. Spoken word sounds a little bit better on the Galaxy Book. And I have played around with quite a few of the equalizer settings, and I'd say that's the case across the board. It's just a speaker configuration. I should mention too that both of these devices have quad speakers. We have 4 speakers here on the Galaxy tablet, and then we have 2 down-firing and 2 up-firing speakers here on the Book 3 Pro 360. All in all, I'd say it's a pretty close comparison. I'd give the slight nod to the Tab S8 Ultra though. So now let's talk about some differences between these machines and just some specs that might help you in your purchasing decision. So first things first is that the Tab S8 Ultra does feature Widevine L1 support. So that's going to get you the full Ultra HD experience when you're streaming. That's your maximum bitrate, maximum color depth when you're using your streaming services. So it's awesome that that's supported. You don't always see that in tablets. It's usually only your higher end ones, and you would expect to see it here, and we do have it. So both of these are going to be pretty equal as far as the media they support, what resolutions they can output, what kind of refresh rates you're going to get. All that kind of stuff's going to be very similar on both machines. So another thing to keep in mind is with the Tab S8 Ultra, you have air command actions that you don't have on the Book 3 Pro 360. And what's cool is we can point the S Pen at the tablet and we can basically adjust our volume and skip back and forth between media. Here I'm raising the volume, go back down. So you have these cool air commands that you can do from a distance if you're watching movies far away from the device. Can't do that on the Book 3 Pro 360. Another thing to consider is with the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, you basically have a stand built in, right? Because this can flip around and become a convertible, and it's also a laptop, right? So the screen's just sitting here. With the Galaxy tablet, though, you're going to need some type of stand. I have the book cover keyboard on here. You can also pick up like just a secondary stand like this, but you're going to need something to watch movies, whereas you won't need that with the Book 3 Pro 360. All right, another consideration to keep in mind is the adaptive refresh rate. So on the Book 3 Pro 360, we have VRR, which is variable refresh rate, which means when we have 24 frames per second content, 30 frames per second content, 60 frames per content getting streamed to us, or however you have it delivered, you're going to see that in its true native refresh rate, so it won't be bouncing around all over the place. Whereas on the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, you are locked at either 60 or 120 hertz. Now, this becomes really important when you're watching movies that are shot in 24 frames per second, because you want that number to equally divide into the refresh rate of the machine. So 24 doesn't equally divide into 60. But, however, 24 does go into 120 5 times evenly. So when you're watching 24 FPS content, you want to make sure you keep your Galaxy tablet locked at 120 hertz. Otherwise, you might experience a little bit of judder. That's what happens when they're out of sync. You're not going to have that problem on the Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you're going to have to consider your refresh rate to get the most out of your movie watching experience. The last thing that I can think of to keep in mind is the port selection on both the devices. So on the Book 3 Pro 360, we have 3 USB-C ports that support display over USB-C, and we also have an HDMI out. And that really makes it convenient for when you want to share the experience on another screen. Whereas on the Tab S8 Ultra, we only have one USB-C. This does have display over USB-C out, but that port's going to be tied up if you're sending that out to a monitor or something like that. So in that case, you're going to need something like this, a little USB-C hub that has charging pass-through in it. So just another thing to keep in mind. Oh, and there is one more key difference between these two machines. So when you're using earbuds or Bluetooth speakers, any type of Bluetooth connected speaker device, you're going to get a little bit of lag on the Book 3 Pro 360, whereas you have minimal lag on the Tab S8 Ultra. You even have the game mode if you're using the Galaxy Buds with it, so you almost have zero latency at all on the Tab S8 Ultra. On the Book 3 Pro 360, it's like a quarter second, and it can get super annoying. So if you're using earbuds often while watching movies, you want to keep that in mind. And I've looked on Reddit and stuff, and it sounds like it really doesn't even matter which earbuds you use and stuff. You're going to see the latency. It's a Windows thing. Some earbuds and some wireless headphones work a little better than others, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a little bit of lag, and you're not going to notice it near as much on the Galaxy tablet. So at the end of the day, which one of these two devices do I recommend for movie watching? Well, to be quite frank about it, you really can't go wrong with either one of them. I think they're both great. But if I had to only pick one, and it was exclusively for movie watching alone, I would probably lean slightly on the Tab S8 Ultra. The main reasons being is the portability. Like, we didn't really talk about that, but it's obviously more portable. The other thing too that really drives me nuts is the earbud lag when I'm using my Galaxy Buds on the Book 3. It really sucks to see someone's mouth moving and it's not in sync with the audio. That's a real deal breaker for me. And it's just kind of the weight of the device and the ease of use. I think this is just a lot easier to manhandle and take with you on the go to hotel rooms while you're traveling. You know, it's just such a great portable media consumption device. So considering all these things, and you have the S Pen Air actions, I'm going to give a slight nod to the Tab S8 Ultra. We won't even throw a price into the equation. I'm not even counting that. All right, if you have any questions about today's video, please drop down in the comments section below. Weekly Q&A comes out on Wednesday. I really do appreciate your time, and as always, thanks for watching.